Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something, well, something we all think about.
Hmm.
How to make life genuinely better. But
Hmm.
we're skipping the surface stuff.
Yeah, forget those quick fixes.
We're really digging into what fuels real lasting change. Things like habits, mindset.
And practical steps, things you, the listener, can actually start using right away.
Exactly. Think of this as getting straight to the core of how you can proactively shape your life, starting, like, now.
We've gone through quite a bit of material, looking at self-knowledge, those tiny daily habits, who you surround yourself with.
And, crucially, how to handle it when things inevitably go wrong, how to bounce back.
Right. So the mission today is pretty clear. Pull out the really actionable insights from all this.
Okay, let's dive in. It seems like the foundation, the absolute starting point for a better life is really understanding ourselves and spotting those blind spots we all have.
It sounds simple, doesn't it? Self-reflection.
Yeah, but who actually carves out, dedicated quiet time for that
Yeah.
without distractions?
And that's what the material really stresses. Intentional self-assessment. It's not just daydreaming.
So not just letting thoughts drift.
No, it's about actively setting aside time to pinpoint what consistently bugs you. And, just as vital, what truly makes you feel good sparks joy.
Like taking an inventory.
Exactly. An inventory of your inner world. What needs attention. What's actually working well already.
And here's something that jumped out at me. The advice to physically write these thoughts down. Why is that step so, well, powerful?
That's a great point. Writing. It's like creating an external record. It gets it out of your head.
Right.
And once it's out there, on paper or a screen, you can start to see patterns, things that are maybe invisible when they're just swirling around inside.
Like maybe you always avoid certain situations or the same frustrations keep popping up.
Precisely. Having that tangible record lets you look at it more objectively.
Right.
And our sources suggest that's a huge step in breaking those old, unhelpful patterns.
Okay, this leads nicely into the idea of blind spots. Things we just don't see about ourselves. The sources say talking to others is key here.
Absolutely. Think about it. You can't see the back of your own head, right? Not without help.
Good analogy.
Other people offer perspectives we simply can't access on our own. A friend you really trust. Someone who will be honest.
Or even a professional, like a coach.
Yes, exactly. They can shine a light on those areas, maybe unlock totally new ways of understanding why you do what you do. It takes some vulnerability for sure.
It does. But the potential payoff for growth seems huge.
Definitely.
So, building on that self-awareness, the next big theme was the kind of surprising impact of our daily habits. It's easy to aim for massive changes, right?
We often do.
Yeah.
But the sources really argue the opposite. Big change usually comes from small, consistent actions.
Like the water drop analogy.
Kinda, yeah. A single drop doesn't seem like much, but over and over, it carves rock. Our habits are like that. They compound, they shape our lives bit by bit.
Can you give some specific examples? What kind of small habits did the sources mention?
Oh, things like drinking a glass of water right when you wake up, or just 10 minutes of meditation or mindfulness.
Just 10 minutes.
Just 2 minutes. Or even consciously deciding to put your phone away during dinner or for the first hour of the day. Small things.
Individually, they sound tiny, almost too small.
They might seem that way. But practiced consistently, they create ripples. Better energy, more focus, maybe a calmer mindset. It adds up.
And the sources really tackle that I'm too busy excuse head on, reframing it as priorities. That can feel a bit harsh, can't it?
It can feel like a call out, yeah. But it's also really empowering.
How so?
Because if you consciously choose not to do that small habit, you're choosing something else instead with that time. Recognizing that gives you ownership. You can choose to make space for what matters.
I like that, taking ownership. Now, this next idea was really fascinating, linking habits to your identity.
Ah, yes. This is powerful.
So instead of, I want to read more books, shifting it to, I am a reader or I am someone who loves learning. How does that language shift work?
It's about making the habit part of who you are, not just something you do.
Okay.
When it's part of your identity, it's not a chore anymore. It's not something you have to force. It becomes a natural expression of yourself.
Which makes it much more likely to stick.
Exactly. The motivation becomes internal, much stronger. It's a subtle psychological shift, but it's really effective.
All right, let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk about people, the people around us. Our sources were really clear. Relationships and support systems are critical for self-improvement.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Your environment, physical and social, matters immensely.
It makes sense. Who you hang out with and influences your thoughts, your actions.
Right. If you surround yourself with people who are generally positive or at least, conscious and trying to grow themselves, it creates this supportive vibe.
An ecosystem almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Having someone to share the ups and downs with, someone
Yeah.
for accountability, it just makes a huge difference. You don't feel so alone in it.
But what if, your immediate circle isn't quite like that? Maybe they're not focused on growth or even a bit negative. The sources had suggestions for that, right?
Yes, thankfully. And this is important because not everyone has that ideal immediate support system.
Sure.
Support doesn't have to be physically present. We live in an age with so many resources. Online communities focused on specific goals, podcasts like this one.
Loops, forums.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Digital communities, they can provide connection, ideas, encouragement. The point is, you're not alone, even if it feels like it sometimes. You just might need to actively seek out those supportive spaces.
Okay, so let's say you're doing the work, you're building self-awareness, installing good habits, finding your people, but then you slip up, you have a setback, it happens.
It absolutely happens. It's
Yeah.
pretty much guaranteed, actually. Growth isn't a straight line upwards.
It feels like it should be sometimes.
I know. But the sources really emphasize setbacks are normal. They're part of the process. The real issue isn't stumbling.
What is it then?
It's how you interpret the stumble. Do you see it as proof that you just can't change? Or do you see it as, well, just a stumble, a temporary thing?
That really hits home. It's so easy to let one bad day derail everything. So the idea is to reframe failure.
Exactly that. Don't see it as a final verdict on your abilities. See it as feedback, pure and simple.
Feedback.
Okay. So, what can I learn here?
Right. What went wrong? What triggered the setback? What could you maybe do differently next time? How can you get back on track, maybe even stronger?
So even the missteps have value.
Every step offers something, even if it wasn't the outcome you wanted. It's all data for growth.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together. The core messages we've distilled seem to be, first, really get to know yourself, warts and all. Identify those blind spots.
Self-awareness is key.
Second, focus on those small, consistent daily habits. They add up.
The power of compounding, yes. Third, be intentional about your environment. Choose the people and influences around you carefully. Seek support.
Your ecosystem matters.
And finally, maybe most importantly, don't let setbacks define you. See them as learning opportunities and don't give up on your ability to improve.
That captures it perfectly. It's not about life suddenly becoming perfect overnight.
Right.
It's about life improving daily through those intentional actions, those conscious choices, and that resilience when things get tough.
So for everyone listening right now, let's make this practical. Take just a moment. Think about one thing. What's one small, truly actionable step you can commit to taking today based on what we've talked about?
Yeah. Don't let it be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be huge.
Just one small thing.
That's right. Just take a deep breath maybe
Mm.
and begin with that one small step, whatever it is for you.